Alright guys, having all but said my final hoopla about this build, I realized I was almost out of time on it, and I didn't like how long it took me to make it, so yeah. This is going to be a wooden mallet build. I'm just going to tell you what I did basically because it's fairly easy to see and show you what you'll need. You'll need a 2x4 or a piece of wood of some sort, you know, depending. I'm just going to say 2x4. Just going to say 2x4. You're going to need some 2-inch wood screws of whatever caliber you want. You're going to need a bit that's slightly smaller than the diameter of your screws for pre-drilling. You're going to need a spade bit or Forstner bit that's about 5/16, or no, not 5/16, 15/16. You're going to need a length of 3/4 inch black iron pipe. I've got this one, it's got threads on both ends, it's about 12 inches. You're going to need something to mark the wood to cut it with, or just use your eye if you're weird. I've got a Sharpie and a speed square. You're going to need a drill, some clamps, a brush to clean everything up afterwards, probably a vise or drill press. Or no, a vise. Either a drill press or a milling machine. My drill press is broken, and I didn't even end up using the milling machine. But you are going to need a chop saw or a hand saw. So, yeah. What I did was I took a 2x4. The rest is still over there, the chop saw. I took it, I marked out about 7 inches, and then I cut it. And 7 inches was just what I wanted, because I'm going to use this for forging, probably for straightening metal, because that's apparently what you do, is you use a wooden mallet to straighten hot metal. I cut it 7 inches. I went and I cut another piece that was about 7 inches. The second piece ended up being a bit longer, so it didn't come out quite right, and I had to go up and even it up later. After I put the head together. Then I took it and I drilled 4 holes. I did take the 2 and I made the first 2 holes. I made Sharpie lines going diagonal with a speed square. Not diagonal, going perpendicular across this way with the wood. And got a little piece of sawdust or something down my throat. And I drilled holes along with those lines. I then countersunk them a little bit with a bigger drill bit. And I just drilled those holes just barely enough, or all the way through these. And then after I clamped it, I marked out where I wanted it to stop, which wasn't very far, just barely enough to get in there, and just a bit, just shorter than the screw, so the tip would dig in to the wood and whatnot. The tip would dig into the wood. I gotta get used to where this camera is actually at, so I know. I drilled it through just a little bit, just pre-drilling so you don't split the wood. These are like self-tapping, self-countersinking screws, so I didn't have to, but I wanted to for safety. Yeah. Then I went to this side. I went to this side after I had drilled these out and drilled these in a little bit on this side when it was clamped, and I put the screws in it. Like what I'll do now. I'm going to pause it and put the screws in, and then show you step by step from there. Alright, and after I put them in, now these were self-countersinking, so if you have self-countersinking ones, I highly suggest you don't drill counter sinks on the top. Maybe just a little bit if you want to, but use a bit that's the diameter of your screw head. When you're doing the countersinking of them, if you don't have a self-countersinking one, you do it by hand. You twist the drill into the hole by hand on the top. Yeah. Then, while I still had the drill bit at the proper depth, I put the drill bit back at the proper depth, and I drilled into this side, about where between these 2 screws on this side, so it would have pressure going on this way, on this side of it. Yep, gonna do that real fast again. And after I put the screws in on this side, I took the 15/16 bit, granted after I measured about where the center was, because mine ended up being, my pieces of wood, my head ended up being, it's bigger on that side. No, it's the same, never mind. After it evening up and cutting a little bit, because after I drilled it together, I went over the chop saw and I evened it up. And after that, it just about ended up being 7 3/4. Or no, not 7, 6 3/4. So I measured where the center was, which ended up being about 3 3/8 or so. Yeah, 3 3/8 and so. And I took the 5/16 bit and I figured out where it would, the actual hole would be at, you know, for the end of the threads, how long I needed it to be, how deep I needed it to be, which is just probably about halfway down the 6 on the 16. And then I drilled about down there. It was slow and process. You probably want to use a drill press for this. I just ended up using the hand drill, honestly. I drilled it out. Then I clamped the pipe in the vise and I slowly just turned it on there and then backed it off out and turned it on there, backed off out, just did that continuously. I think I ended up clamping it, I ended up clamping it in the vise like that and turning the head on. Now this will take a little bit doing that, but it's worth it in the end, and you do want to clamp it in a vise or have it clamped, have the pipe or head clamped down and twist the other all the way in there, but it'll help keep it tight. You might want to put some glue in there, I might later. But yeah. And then there you have a wooden mallet. Now, I did want to have it differently with, you know, me actually building and doing the stuff, but unfortunately it didn't turn out that way because my video was long and it sucked really bad. But yeah, this is a wooden hammer or mallet or whatever you want to call it. Made out of a 2x4. You could also probably use a 4x4, a chunk of 4x4. Drill a hole in it, find a center piece on it and drill a hole in it, and you could do the same thing. As far as what this is good for, I'm going to try and use it to straighten hot metal. I have no idea if it's going to work. Frankly, it could all turn to ash really fast. But I just thought that this was a cool project, and I'd make a video on it, because I've been thinking about it for several days, and I wanted to do it. So yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am going to try and do some more cool stuff. I've got a whole bunch of ideas. I want to do a little mini-series on, you know, quick, fast, and dirty little survival spearheads and whatnot. Or quick, fast, and dirty little survival tools and stuff and such. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. And please, you know, like, share, and subscribe and whatnot. And I promise, you know, down the road, as these videos keep going, my stuff will get better. As soon as my sister-in-law figures out how to mess with her camera, and I figure out how to mess with her camera, or if I get a better camera and whatnot, it'll get better. I promise, guys. I promise. I promise. I do want to make good content. I do want to get views and whatnot. And I do want to share the knowledge of the random things I know how to do with the world. But yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.